In general, your tattoo artist probably wants you to get your work bigger. Now, why does your tattoo artist want you to get your tattoos bigger? Well, it's because of the limitations that are just inherent in skin, in having a body. We don't have the benefit of having an inanimate substrate to work on, like canvas or wood or whatever. We have to work with your body's biological processes, and part of that is shedding skin. Your body wants to remove foreign particles like tattoo pigment. So we pretty much have to take that into consideration and make that a part of our plan when we're designing a piece to look the best that it can for as long as possible. As any tattoo ages, it's going to start to spread in your skin. And this happens because your body healing itself wants to remove foreign particles. You have these little immune cells called macrophages that actually swallow up little bits of your tattoo pigment, and they just kind of like shelter in place. They just kind of stay there, encapsulating this little piece of pigment so that if it is something harmful, it can't get around and hurt your body more. These little macrophage guys, they don't know the difference. So when they die eventually, that pigment particle will actually kind of float along until another macrophage picks it up and they swallow it. And then they kind of shelter in place until they die. And over time, they just kind of drift outwards from where they were originally deposited when your artist did your tattoo. So if you have a tattoo like a little skull design and you want to get it too small, as your body naturally does this, as it kind of spreads outward from the edges of where the tattoo was originally deposited, if there's too much detail in too small of a space, it's just gonna kind of smudge together into a big gray blob. Whereas if you get it slightly larger, it's not gonna do that. Once it kind of blurs out from the edges like every tattoo is gonna do over time, it's still readable because of its size. So in general, the bigger you get any tattoo, the better it's going to look over time and the more bold it's going to be for the longest amount of time. So because of all this, most professional tattoo artists will tell you that there is a certain size below which certain things are just not going to look right, like lettering or anything with a lot of detail, tiny little tattoos with itty bitty thin lines, stuff on like hands and necks and faces, with skin that tends to regenerate and fade and spread more than most other places on the body. And especially super detailed stuff like portraits, where any loss of detail is going to severely affect the tattoo's likeness. The more detail it loses, the less it's going to look like the person it's supposed to look like. So when your tattoo artist tells you that it's probably a good idea to get your tattoo larger, they're not just messing with you. There's actually a real reason. They're looking out for you and they want your tattoo to look as good as it can for as long as it can. They've probably seen firsthand how bad it can be when you get something too small. And honestly, the majority of cover-ups that people have wanted me to do personally haven't been tattoos that they didn't like the meaning anymore. They just got something too small in too big of a space, or something too small and it bled together. Tattoos are meant to be seen. They're a bold visual statement. So why not get them bigger and let people see them?